Welcome to WhatGear Reviews for another camera comparison shootout, and it took me a while to think of what phone would be best to compare the brand new Honor 9X European Edition to. And as it happens, I actually have a work phone, which is the Sony Xperia XA2, which retails about £300 now, and the Honor 9X is about £250, so I think it's a fair comparison. So that's what we're going to do today, the Honor 9X versus the Sony XA2 Ultra camera shootout. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so this is picture one and it's John Wick, and you can see here straight away the two cameras have a completely different color science. On the left, on the Sony XA2, you can see there's way more contrast, a bit more warmth in the picture, and on the right hand side a much brighter image, cooler tones throughout. The real question is, which one looks better to you? There's a poll up in that top right corner for you to vote on which one is winning, and once you do that, you'll be able to see what everyone else is saying. Anyway, picture two. So here is a selfie on the two devices, and straight away you'll notice on the Honor 9X with its pop-up camera is capturing a much sharper image, quite a warm photo but quite well balanced and quite true to life. On the left hand side, a much cooler image on the Xperia XA2. I think when it comes to selfies, you've got to give this one to the Honor 9X. If not, and you disagree with what I'm saying, let me know in the comments below why. Now let's move on to picture three. So this is a high dynamic range photo. I really wanted to test what both of these could do with their auto modes. And you can see on the left hand side, you're getting a nice, quite dark, but quite dramatic photo from the Sony Xperia XA2. I really like how the sunset looks back there, but then when we compare it to the Honor 9X photo, you can see it handles the picture overall a bit better. So the foreground is still bright, the background is still bright, and you can still see that sunset. The colors maybe not quite as nice as on the Sony in the background, but overall as a picture I think maybe the Honor 9X is a little bit better. But saying that, I actually really do like the Sony photo as well, so let me know which one you like better in the comments below, and let's move on to picture four. So of course, what would a camera shootout be without some flowers? And these are some wildflowers that I saw. It was quite dark, the sun was quite low that day, but here is one area where I feel the Sony has done really well. I really like the colors it's producing here, not just on the flowers but also in the background. And the Honor 9X uses AI, so you can actually toggle it on and off, but throughout this video I left the AI on, and it did recognize the flowers, but it hasn't done much in the way of brightening up the image, where I think it kind of needed it, and I think the Sony takes this one. Let me know what you think, and let's move on to picture five. So this is another high dynamic range photo, and again you can see here, actually when it comes to auto mode, the Honor 9X has that advantage with its AI, and it's managed the backlight a lot better than the Sony Xperia XA. The entire photo again has great details, and on the left hand side we still got great details, but we're losing a lot of information up there in the sky. It's just completely white, and again I think this comes down to the AI in the camera software, with the Sony not actually automatically adjusting to that bright lighting. But still, good photo on both phones. Now let's move on to the video side-by-side tests. So we're about halfway through. Let me know how the two phones are doing. And this is also a great opportunity for you guys to see the difference between the mics and also the front-facing video quality on the two cameras. But I want to highlight a couple of the differences between the two phones. So this is the Sony phone now, and the differences I was talking about is on the front of the Sony, we actually have two lenses. So we have an ultra wide and a regular. On the back of the Honor 9X, we actually have a triple camera setup with a standard and an ultra wide and also a time of flight sensor. So it's very different. But one of the coolest things about the 9X, apart from the price being so low, is it's the first Honor device to have a pop-up camera, which means you're basically getting all screen on the device, which is really, really awesome. Also, it's a lot newer than the Sony device, but what I really want to know is which one is performing better when it comes to photos and videos. So make sure you're using the polls throughout the video, and once you do that, you'll be able to see what everybody else is saying. Anyway, let's move on to the night segment of the video. Let's go. So here is night picture one, and you guys know I live in London and it's raining all the time. It wasn't just raining, it was bloody cold as well. But check these two photos out. On the right hand side, the Honor 9X has AIS Super Night Mode, so it does a much longer exposure, it brightens the image up, and you can really see it here. It's a much brighter, more detailed photo. We're getting a lot of lens flares there, but still looks pretty good. Then if we look at the Sony photo, it actually looks really quite cool. It looks like I've added some filters to it. Actually, if I put this into Photoshop, I could make this look really cool. When it comes to detail, you've got to give it to the Honor 9X. But when it comes to a more artistic kind of photo, I actually really like the XA here. Let me know. There's a poll up in the top right corner for you to vote on which one of these two photos you like better. Let's move on to night picture two. So if you've watched my previous camera comparisons, I always take a photo of this building at night because there's a bunch of lights on it and it gives you guys a good idea of what the phones are capable of. And again, this AIS Super Night Mode on the Honor 9X delivers a much sharper image and it controls the light a lot better. So all of the bright lights on the building are not blown out, they're not too blurry. On the Sony Xperia XA2, all of the sharp lines are kind of soft and the bright lights are overexposed. So this is a clear win here for the Honor 9X. And here's another photo taken at night, not far from where that photo was just taken. And it's a traffic light sign. And you can see by the cars passing on the road that both phones do a slightly longer exposure. That's why you're getting this kind of motion blur on the right hand side. The Honor 9X definitely does a longer exposure than the XA2. But both phones actually do pretty well here. More detail again on the Honor 9X. Great colours on the Sony. I really like the brightness in the reds. But if you're judging this purely off detail, you've got to go with the Honor. Let me know what you think and let's move on to the next one. So here's a night selfie, and both phones don't have a night mode on the selfie cameras. There's just a bit of street lighting there. On the right hand side on the Honor 9X, it's picking up more information than on the Sony. The Sony has a lot more shadows and a slightly purpley looking picture. And there's a very yellowy tint on the Honor 9X. But the Sony does have a little secret weapon here on the selfie camera. Apart from the ultra wide, it does have a selfie flash. So here I actually did this by accident, so I wasn't expecting it to happen. But you can see the Sony phone has a selfie flash, and that can work quite well sometimes. So when it comes to selfie night photos, let me know which one you think won. If you're an Honor fan or a Sony fan, there are some thumbnails on screen right now for you to check out some more of my other comparisons that I did in the past. I think you might like them. And if you're a new subscriber, that means you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't be late.